Hey there, listeners. Welcome back to Red Hunt, where dive into the thrilling stories shared by the Reddit community, shedding light on the complexities of relationships. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and get ready for some jaw-dropping tales. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our Red Hunt family. Am I the antagonist for telling my parents and my sisters that I don't need them to name my baby and I will never use one of the names they suggest? I am an 18-year-old female, and my boyfriend and I are expecting a baby. His family is very kind and supportive, but most of my family members are not, except for my two great brothers. The rest of my family keeps telling me that we are too young and question all of my decisions, from considering formula instead of breastfeeding to the names we have been considering. A couple of months ago, I moved in with my boyfriend earlier than planned because we wanted to avoid these comments. We have started purchasing things for the baby, and we know that we are having a boy. Initially, my parents and sisters suggested that I name the baby George after my great-grandfather when they found out it was a boy. I told them that we weren't looking for name suggestions and asked them not to push the issue. Then they wanted to know what name we had in mind, but I told them that we weren't going to share until the baby is here. They did not take that well and assumed that we must have a terrible name in mind. They even made a list of suggestions for us, including names like Simon, Malcolm, Edward, Frederick, James, Jonathan, and Desmond. I reminded them again that we did not want or need name suggestions because we already had our own ideas. I ignored them when they mentioned names a couple more times. However, on Christmas Day, my oldest sister seized my phone while I was in the bathroom and went through the list I had on there. By the way, we were at my oldest brother's house. She showed my mom and my other sisters, and she tried to involve my brothers as well. Fortunately, my oldest brother told them to leave if they were going to start a fight at his house in front of his family. But they did start a fight and asked me what I was thinking, insisting that I choose one of their names. They were particularly upset about the names Sloan and Finley, which were the two names on my list on my phone. Eventually, my brother had to kick them out because they claimed that I shouldn't ruin my son with a name like that, and they also criticized my boyfriend, saying that he wants another dumb name like Jackson. I reminded them that I have an equal say in naming my boyfriend's baby, and that just because they don't like the names doesn't give them the right to insult us. I had to block them on my phone after Christmas because they were incessantly blowing it up. However, 2 days ago, I received an email with an even longer list of names. So I temporarily unblocked them and told them in a family group chat that this is my baby, and I do not need or want their input on naming him. I made it clear that I will not consider any names from their list, and because they have annoyed me, I will never use one of those names. After that, I blocked them again, and my brothers showed me screenshots of the messages where my family members are still going off. They find it amusing, but I know they had to mute the chat. Now I feel somewhat guilty, and my parents and sisters are calling me out. Am I the one in the wrong here? It's your baby, and you have every right to choose the name that you and your boyfriend like. Your family should respect your wishes and not try to impose their own opinions on you. Blocking them was the right move to protect your own sanity and peace of mind. I can no longer take my boyfriend's incompetence. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years and living together for 3 months, including the month I went back to my parents. More details below. He is very loving, caring, sweet, kind, and everything I could ask for in a partner. He has been incredibly supportive during our time together. However, he is extremely messy. I mean, really messy. It's not for lack of effort though. I handle most of the cooking, so he takes charge of cleaning, which really just means tidying up. He never does any deep cleaning like properly sweeping or wiping things down. When we first met, he didn't even know how to vacuum properly or that you need to lift things to clean underneath. But I have tried to teach him how to clean. I've shown him, and I've even written step-by-step instructions for him to follow. I've done this numerous times, not just once or twice. Today I came home after spending a month at my parents' place and asked him to clean the house while I was away. He said he did and seemed excited to show me the results. However, when I went into the bedroom, it was absolutely filthy. There were food packages, clumps of my hair, empty cans, general waste, and a lot of dust. The bathroom had his beard hair all over the floor, even though he shaved 2 days ago. My sanitary pads were still in the bin, and it smelled terrible. I'd been gone for a whole month. The carpet was dirty, and I feel uncomfortable walking on it barefoot. I immediately started cleaning up as much as I could, and I couldn't help but cry. I had been on an 8-hour coach trip, and to come back to this, it was heartbreaking. Throughout the whole time, he was telling me to stop cleaning and insisting that he had washed the dishes, thinking he did a good job. Later that night, he asked me why I was in a bad mood, and I admitted that I had expected things to be clean. His excitement to show me a clean house that was actually filthy made me realize that I can't live like this for the rest of my life. He then got upset and went to sleep. To make matters worse, the bed is uncomfortable because there are lumps underneath the sheets that he obviously didn't brush off before putting on the clean sheets. It makes me feel dirty and gross, but I don't want to sleep on the sofa and make things worse. What should I do? I can't continue living like this. I feel disgusting, filthy, and stressed, but he is otherwise a wonderful partner. Should we break up? How should I approach this issue? How can we work through it? I am exhausted. It sounds like you've put a lot of effort into teaching your boyfriend how to clean, but he just hasn't been able to grasp it. It's understandable that you feel frustrated and stressed about the situation, especially after coming back to a dirty house. Communication is key here. Have a calm and honest conversation with him about how his lack of cleanliness is affecting you and see if you can come up with a solution together. Breaking up shouldn't be the first option, but if this issue continues to cause significant dissatisfaction in the relationship, you may need to reevaluate whether it's something you can live with long-term. Am I the antagonist for protesting picking up my son's friend when she didn't plan for known weather conditions? To provide some context, we are currently experiencing a severe cold spell, which is highly unusual for our area. The temperature is currently elevated and still dropping. There is leftover snow on the ground from last night, and it has turned into ice due to the lack of warmth. The temperature didn't even reach 25 Fahrenheit today. The authorities have advised everyone who doesn't have an urgent need to stay home. The roads are extremely icy, and cars are skidding off or colliding with each other. Driving becomes even more challenging in our hilly city. We often have my son's friend, who is in her early 20s, around our house. She has a job but doesn't drive or own a car. She dislikes taking the bus and frequently requests rides, especially for sizable grocery trips. Occasionally, if it's a longer trip, she will compensate by filling our gas tank, so she isn't a financial burden. However, she has a tendency to assume that she will always be able to rely on us and doesn't plan ahead. If we need the car for work or some other reason, she doesn't throw a fit, but it's clear that she's inconvenienced. She doesn't make backup arrangements and simply assumes we'll be available because, more often than not, we are. Tonight, she called us from a gaming location downtown, asking for a ride home shortly before 10 p.m., which is when the venue closes for the night. She had just finished her regular group game night and was ready to leave. Other members of the group were heading home as well, but she didn't want to impose on them. Unfortunately, our small city doesn't have bus service after 9 p.m., and there is no taxi service either. Uber only has 1 or 2 drivers, resulting in a significant waiting time. Knowing her stubborn nature, if we don't give her a ride, she will most likely attempt to walk home. She doesn't dress appropriately for the weather, often wearing just a sweatshirt with a few layers, adamantly claiming that she doesn't need more. She doesn't own proper boots, only sneakers. This presents a potentially life-threatening situation. Moreover, this is also an unfavorable scenario for us. Our small commuter car is not equipped with all-wheel drive and struggles in icy conditions. It is also our only vehicle, as my all-wheel drive SUV broke down last summer. If the car gets damaged, we will be stuck. My spouse insisted on making the trip, disregarding the risks and the warnings to stay off the roads. Because the son's friend is an adult and not our child, my spouse refuses to address how inconsiderate and dangerous her lack of planning is, especially during an exceptionally cold period late at night. This isn't the first time we have become the default free taxi service for friends and acquaintances without cars, merely because we are kind-hearted. So, am I the jerk for asking my spouse to stop offering last-minute rides and urging the friend to take responsibility for herself? It's completely reasonable to ask your spouse to stop constantly providing rides for your son's friend and to encourage her to be more responsible and plan ahead. You're not obligated to constantly inconvenience yourselves and put yourselves at risk for someone else's lack of planning. It's important to set boundaries and prioritize your own safety. My fiancé is purposefully compromising our relationship, so I'll call off the wedding. I have been with my fiancé for 2 years. We have known each other for 4 years and got engaged in May of last year. When we first got together, people would comment that they didn't expect someone like me to be with someone like him because of our differing levels of attractiveness. However, we fell in love quickly, and he gave me the key to his house only a week or 2 into our relationship, so I moved in with him. About 6 months into our relationship, I had a gut feeling that I needed to check his phone while he was in the shower. I discovered a whole album of saved porn videos and pictures, including nude photos of his past partners and friends. These were saved in the days leading up to when I checked his phone, going back to when we first got together. He would like other girls' pictures on social media, but had to be begged to look at and like mine. There were no pictures of us or any selfies nudes I had sent him. When asked about this, he said it was because he hadn't lost me yet. He admitted to deleting conversations with an ex with whom he had a long-term relationship, although they were casual conversations. The recently saved pictures were actually taken before we got together. I messaged the ex, who confirmed that he had told her about our committed relationship and that he was going to cut her off, and she wished him well. I want to believe she was being honest. Half of my friends think we should try to work things out because he has attachment issues that therapy could help with, while the other half said I should end the relationship. After discussing it, he agreed to delete all the photos and videos and ended up removing social media apps from his phone. Since the start of the new year, I have been expressing excitement about our wedding in August. However, I have noticed that he does not seem as enthusiastic as I am. Today, I checked his phone again and found that he had been looking up a few girls he had been with or shown interest in from November up to 2 days ago. When confronted, he admitted to doing this on purpose in the hope that I would go through his phone again and end our relationship. He claims that he loves and cares about me, but believes that I am using him. He mentioned that he has deep-rooted issues from his childhood that he is still trying to understand, and he doesn't know why he looked up those girls because it's an old habit. He is open to trying therapy, even though he has never shared anything about his past with me. This situation has caused me a lot of emotional pain, and I have not fully recovered from the first incident. However, I do love him. I am now afraid to get married because I feel like he will try to get me to divorce him. But I also fear starting over. It sounds like there are some trust and communication issues in your relationship that need to be addressed. Couples therapy could potentially help you both navigate through these problems and better understand each other's perspectives. However, it's important to listen to your gut and prioritize your own happiness and emotional well-being. Ultimately, the decision to try therapy or call off the wedding should be based on what feels right for you. My boyfriend doesn't think our dog should leave the house. How do I handle this? My boyfriend has been acting irrationally about our dog, which is really confusing to me. He believes that our dog shouldn't leave the house because he thinks it's dangerous. Despite our dog being small to medium-sized, my boyfriend is worried about potential injuries during walks or when I take him running. He is also concerned about other animals or people hurting our dog, to the point that he believes going to a forest preserve is dangerous. It's important to note that we have a herding breed, a type of dog that is capable of handling hikes and runs without any issues. During the summer, our dog and I went on a hike with my friend and her dog, which caused my boyfriend to become angry. He didn't think our dog should be around other dogs, even though he has interacted well with them in the past, especially with this particular dog who he has met before and played with. There was an incident where our dog was attacked by another dog in our yard, but it was quickly resolved with no serious injuries. Because of this, my boyfriend now worries about other dogs attacking our dog and doesn't want to take any chances. We agreed to avoid bringing our dog around the dog that attacked him, which happens to be a friend's dog. A few months ago, I took our dog on a hike and he came back home limping. I assumed it was due to a pulled muscle since he isn't accustomed to being active outside. However, the limping disappeared within 2 days, and our dog is completely fine now, even after his yearly checkup. I'm trying to take him out more often because I feel guilty when he's cooped up inside, especially considering that he's become overweight. Unfortunately, my boyfriend blamed me for the limping incident. I tried explaining that our dog probably stepped on his leg or paw the wrong way, but my boyfriend didn't listen, and we ended up having a huge fight. However, our dog ultimately recovered and is perfectly fine now. I strongly disagree with completely sheltering our dog to the point where I can't take him anywhere or have him around other dogs. My boyfriend and I have argued about this multiple times. I've made it clear that I refuse to restrict our dog's experiences. However, my boyfriend sees no reason for our dog to go anywhere beyond our yard. I argue that it's not a fulfilling life for our dog, and he should be able to explore more than just our house and yard. Unfortunately, my boyfriend doesn't see it that way. Does anyone have any advice on how to make my boyfriend understand where I'm coming from? He's being stubborn and irrational about this matter. I've taken our dog to various places like parks, breweries, forest preserves, neighborhood walks, and friends' houses many times before. I suspect my boyfriend is overly fixated on the limping incident and the minor dog attack that occurred in our yard. I fail to see how those isolated incidents justify locking our dog inside forever. What should I do? It sounds like your boyfriend has some anxiety or trauma surrounding incidents with your dog and is hyper-focused on potential dangers. However, it's important for your dog's well-being to have opportunities to experience the world outside of your house and yard. Maybe try having a calm and open conversation with your boyfriend, reassuring him that you will take necessary precautions to keep your dog safe, such as avoiding certain dogs or environments, but also emphasizing the importance of enriching your dog's life. Am I the antagonist for uninviting my parents from my wedding because of what they said about my fiancé? I, a 23-year-old female, have been dating Noah, a 25-year-old male, for more than 3 years now. We met through friends, and he is truly the love of my life. Admittedly, my parents never liked him because I was only 19 while he was 22. I admit, this is natural, and we gave them plenty of time to trust him. They also wanted me to marry someone more polished, the word they used. Noah is not Catholic, nor is he from a wealthy background. He also has tattoos, which is a pretty big sin for my family. I knew my family was pretentious like that, but I never thought they would berate me for choosing my own life partner. Noah is more successful than me and takes care of me more than anyone else. My brother used to tell me that my parents thought I was going through my rebel phase later in life because I never used to go against their wishes before. This is true, but I've explained to them that it's because I didn't know I had a choice. They thought I would break up with him eventually. A few months ago, I found out that I'm pregnant. It was not planned at all. But Noah and I used to talk about family way before this, so even though things are happening a lot earlier than we planned, we wanted to go ahead with it. Soon after, Noah proposed as well. We hosted a dinner for both our families and told them the news, and this is where things got out of control. I didn't want to shock them, so my brother had also told them that I was engaged, but I wanted to tell them about the pregnancy face to face. I don't get to see them much since they live far away, and this was special to me. But this is one of the reasons I feel like I'm the asshole. I feel like maybe I put too much pressure. Anyways, they came, they saw the ring, and pretended to be okay with it. But after we started eating, they were continuously making snide remarks, like how Noah could afford such a ring or that it's fake. Now Noah is not a person to take bullshit, and after a lot of comments he told them that if they had the class they showed with their money, I wouldn't have to be scared of telling them she's pregnant. To say they were shocked is an understatement. My mom started crying. My dad started fighting with my mother-in-law about Noah trapping me. I was so stressed and scared they just kept shouting. Noah told them to get out, but before leaving my mother told me to get rid of it. I couldn't believe what she said. I still didn't say anything. I was shocked. The next day when they called, I told them they were uninvited from the wedding. They were okay and even said they were free of a burden. But after a week they called, apologized, and said that missing their only daughter's wedding would be devastating. However, I shouted a lot that day and called them names. I just lost it. It's been a while with no contact. I overthink a lot nowadays. Hormones, I guess, but I want to know. What if I explained the pregnancy before they got shocked? Maybe if I told them instead of Noah, I don't know. They have given me everything my entire life, my education, everything. Am I the asshole here? Your parents' behavior towards you and Noah is completely unacceptable. You shouldn't have to apologize for choosing your own partner and starting a family. Their reaction was disrespectful and hurtful, and it's understandable that you needed some time apart from them. It's important to prioritize your own happiness and well-being, even if it means cutting off toxic family members. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.